Another heartbreaking loss for the New York Knicks. They're now 22-23 in the NBA season, 11th place in the Eastern Conference. And since we're halfway or past the halfway point in the NBA season, I think this is a very fair question. So let me know. Will the Knicks make the playoffs? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Back-to-back losses at Madison Square Garden for the Knicks. On Monday, it was against the Charlotte Hornets. They got blown out. That one was never a game. And last night, against the Minnesota Timberwolves, they lost by 2, a game that they were down at the half by double digits, but they fought back, had an electric third quarter. They kind of slowed down offensively late in the third quarter when Kemba Walker came out. And in the fourth quarter, they struggled to find buckets until Kemba Walker and Julius Randle got back. The game came down to the last possession where Fournier, he was hot, I understand. He had 27 points. I think he was 10 of 12 at one point during the game. He was on fire. Fournier played like he was playing against the Boston Celtics, but I don't like the isolation basket that he tried to create on the last second. He did have a good game. I thought Julius Randle played with great effort, nearly a triple-double. I know a lot of fans think that's impressive. I don't really care about triple-doubles. Kemba Walker was also great when his limited time on the court. He made some big three-pointers, but at the end of the day, when you can't beat the Timberwolves at home, when you're up 5 points with just 3 minutes left in the game, that's a game you got to win, especially when we're past the halfway point and you're at around 500. You got to start to string together wins at home. And the Knicks, for the second night in a row, lost at MSG. So I want to know, what was your one-word reaction to the loss? There's a lot of things you can say. I'm sure you guys will be very creative in the comments section, so go be that. One-word reaction to the loss versus Minnesota. For me, it was heartbreaking. This was a game that the Knicks easily should have won. They got off to a slow start. They fought back. They took the lead in the third quarter. They were up as much by 9 points. But then in the fourth quarter, when you're up 5 points with just 3 minutes to go, you have to find a way to win the game. But the last offensive possession, where Fournier tried to go ISO off the dribble, I hated it. He missed the shot. The Knicks got the rebound. They kicked it out to Alec Burks, who had an okay look at the basket, but you knew who had even a better look? It was Kemba Walker. All he had to do was swing it one more time to his right, and Kemba would have had a wide open three. That's a shot we've seen Alec Burks hit many, many times, but he had a guy wide open to his right. That was hot in the fourth quarter, and Kemba Walker, I would have liked to see him swing it just one more time. I want to touch on what Tommy Beer had to say. He's one of the best follows on Knicks Twitter. In the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the fourth quarter, these were the Knicks' final 10 possessions. A miss, a miss, a miss, then missed free throws, then a made free throw, then a turnover, then another turnover, then a missed free throw, then a made free throw, then a miss, and then a miss. The Knicks in the fourth quarter could not string together baskets, and it started late in the third when Kemba Walker came out of the game and Julius Randle came in the game, and Emmanuel Quickley came in at the point guard position. I love Quickley, but I'm just not 100% sold that he can be a ball-dominant point guard. He did a lot of dribbling, but he didn't really get anywhere on the court. And then when Kemba Walker came in late in the fourth quarter, or it was probably around the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter, the offense picked back up. He had 3 big three-pointers that got the Knicks back on top. I really like the spark that Kemba Walker gave the Knicks on offense, but watching him on defense, it's just sad to see because he is a liability. He's a negative on the defensive court, but his offense definitely brings a spark because he can control the pace, he can initiate the offense, and he just takes hold of this offense, gets the players in the right spot. He gets Julius where he needs to be, but I think it's pretty obvious at this point, the Knicks desperately need a point guard. We're just under a month away from the NBA trade deadline. The Knicks, they've already made a move for Cam Reddish. I expect another trade to be coming very, very soon, and I hope it's for a point guard because this team needs one, and it's very clear when Kemba Walker plays, they're way better on offense, but they're just a bad defensive team with him on the court. I wish we still got the old Hornets Kemba Walker, but I think those days are far, far behind it. But get your votes in. Do the Knicks need to trade for a point guard prior to the 2022 NBA trade deadline? Type T for trade or type P for pass. And if the Knicks make a trade at the deadline, which I think they will, we'll be breaking it down on this channel, youtube.com/KnicksTV. We're currently just over 3.7 thousand subscribers. I want to get to 4K by the time the trade deadline hits. And that can't happen unless all of you watching right now go and hit that big red button. We're going to start doing more game recaps like this on the channel. We react to news, rumors, anything related to the Knicks. We break it down on this channel. So if that sounds good to you, go and hit that big red button. Someone that I think deserves a little bit of the blame of last night's game was R.J. Barrett. If you look at the stats as a whole, 17.6 rebounds, he had an all right game. But when you have an assist-to-turnover ratio of 2-7 and you shoot 6 of 16 from the field, yeah, like my producer just said in my ear, R.J. Barrett did not play good last night, and he didn't play good against the Hornets either. That game, again, if you look at the raw numbers, 18, 12, and 5, wow. R.J. Barrett's hot. He had a great 7-game stretch, but no. 5 assists and 6 turnovers. Over the Knicks' last 2 games, both losses at home, R.J. Barrett committed 13 turnovers and shot 38% from the field, and he went 13 of 34, and while shooting 50% from the free throw line. That's an area that R.J. Barrett has to get better. That's the free throw department and not turning the ball over. R.J. had a great 7-game stretch prior to the game against the Charlotte Hornets. He was shooting around 50% from 3, averaging almost 30 points per game, over 50% from the floor, but his inconsistency is troubling. That's something that I worry about with RJ. One game he can look like someone that can be an alpha, a first or second option on a contending team. But games like last night and games on Monday against the Charlotte Hornets, those are games that really, really worry me. But I always think in the back of my mind, this guy is just 22 years old. The fact he's able to do some of these things that he does at 22 is very inspiring, and that's why I'm not out on RJ Barrett. I'm actually still all the way in on him, but it's some nights like the last 2 that leave me just wanting more because I've seen him be able to be a dominant player in the NBA. We all just have to remember the kid is just 22 years old. I want to talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. He said in a post-game interview this was his first and biggest Madison Square Garden moment. He grew up in the New York area. His dad was a longtime Knicks fan. He talked all the time how he wanted that Madison Square Garden moment, and he said he had that on the go-ahead and 1 bucket late in the 4th quarter when Julius Randle fouled him. Then he went to his press conference and said this. He dapped up his teammates and said, "Bing, bong, that." Yeah, you know what? F Karl-Anthony Towns. If you think Karl-Anthony Towns is a loser for this, like this video. If you've been monitoring Cat throughout his NBA career, he's always hinted and flirted with the idea that he wants to be a Knick, and he just wishes he did that because he plays for a lousy team and a lousy organization like the Minnesota Timberwolves. So he tried to mock Knicks fans by saying, "Bing bong that." Yeah, Cat's a loser. So if you think so, like this video. I want to give some cred to Julius Randle. He played with great effort last night on the offensive end. He was attacking the glass, and when he plays downhill like that, let the game come to him, he's one of the best players in the NBA. That's why he won Most Improved Player last year, was a second All-NBA team selection. I did have a problem, though, with his inability or refusal to box out on defense. I don't really want to bang too much on the guy because I am a tough critic on Julius because, like RJ, I've seen Julius be one of the best players in the NBA, so I hold him to a very high standard, and some nights he falls short, but last night he played with great effort. But the missed free throw with 19 seconds left to tie the game. When you go to the stripe and you are the leader, the alpha, the captain, or as Tom Thibodeau calls him, the engine behind this Knicks team, when you have a chance to tie the game at the free throw line with less than 30 seconds in the game, you have to hit both of those free throws. He did not do that. He also missed a crunch time free throw a couple weeks ago against the Boston Celtics when R.J. Barrett hit that wild game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer. It's now growing a thing that Julius Randle is not able to execute from the free throw line in crunch time. And that's troubling for me. He had a great game. His effort was there, but it's inexcusable for him to miss late game-tying or game-winning free throws like he has sometimes this season. I think it's a fair question. I certainly am. The fact that you are 22 and 23 and you've had the second easiest schedule in the NBA up to this point, and you're out of the playoff race, you're at the 11th seed, and moving forward, you have the hardest schedule in the NBA. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to start to string together wins. I hope when Derrick Rose comes back, this team pulls it all together. Maybe they make a move at the deadline and they start to really, really gel. But I'm worried, and I'm curious what you guys are. If you're worried, type W for worried. Or if you're not worried and you're like, man, just relax. D Rose is coming back. We'll be good. Type NW for not worried. And hit me up on Twitter. Give me a follow. I was live tweeting the game last night. Anytime I get a chance, I will always live tweet Knicks games. I bleed blue and orange. I love this team. I love this city. And I think no other team, I'm also a Giants fan, stresses me out more than the Knicks because I just want to see them be great again. Hit me up. Follow me on Twitter @MarshallGreen_.